Cerebral palsy is a life condition, but it doesn't stop us from living our life. I love my agents at DDO Artists. Shout out to Alicia, Laura, McKenna, um, Cassie, Julie, and my manager, Al Petrush, and also Jocelyn. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being on Team Miracle.
Hello. Thank you for joining Oops Palsy Podcast. My name is Sharon. You guys know my co-host Ty. Today we have a very special guest with us, Miracle. She has an extensive background in acting and modeling, so I've wanted to get her on for a little bit here to kind of discuss her life and everything that she's accomplished.
Hello, everybody. My name is Miracle Pelayo, and I am an actress, model, and fashion content creator with spastic diplegia and cerebral palsy.
So I would say, how did you first get into acting?
Well, I have been wanting to be an actress since I was 4 years old, and growing up, my dad would always have those camcorders that you could convert into a VHS tape way back in the 90s. I'm making everybody feel old right now, but that's how I grew up. So my dad would always videotape me every single day, and I literally thought I had my own TV show. And so my dad would always just constantly film me, and he would say, "Miracle's on TV." And I literally just thought in my head at 4 years old, I had my own TV show. And that's how it all started.
Oh, that's awesome. So you kind of had that goal for a long time. So were there other careers you kind of had in between that, or did you just kind of jump into acting as soon as you had the opportunity?
No, I've always just wanted to do this. There was no plan B. There was no other option. What sparked everything was my parents took me to go see The Miracle Worker, the play, on my 12th birthday. And I noticed that the girl playing Helen Keller was able-bodied, playing a disabled character. And I turned to my dad and I said, "Dad, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life." And so I got into theater at 14. Theater has played such a huge impact on my life. And so around that time, I was part of a boys and girls wheelchair club called Winners on Wheels. And it was just a social group. We would do Christmas parties, Halloween parties, and just do fun social things to do. And there was a performing arts group called Kids on Stage for a Better World that was directed and choreographed by Grounded for Life's Lindsay Bartleson. And I actually met one of the members of the group. Her name is Michaela Jo Murphy. And if you guys don't know her, she is the voice of Toph in Avatar: The Last Airbender, now airing on Nickelodeon. So yes, I'm very proud to say that I grew up with Toph. She's still a constant in my life every day. And so around the time I was 14, 15, 16, I started to take theater classes in middle school. And so I asked my dad if I can get into an audition for Kids on Stage. And so I auditioned in front of Lindsay, and I was really timid because I was the only disabled member in the group. All the other kids were typical able-bodied kids. I was like, what if they don't accept me? I had all of those questions in my head. So I auditioned in front of Lindsay Bartleson and her mom, Lori. And so long story short, I made it into the group, and I was the only disabled member in the group, and I did over 30 shows with them. And then I took my final bow in 2009. And then I still did theater all my 4 years of high school. And then a month after I graduated high school was when I got my first representation. And it's just been a journey ever since then.
What was your first role?
My first role was with a co-star role with Alan Tudyk in a web series called Con Man. And so I play Miranda in episode 4 of the series. So if you guys want to check it out, I'm sure you can find it on the internet somewhere. And so chasing after Alan and just annoying him like crazy was the best part of my job. So
How did you feel that first day?
the first day on set, I was pretty nervous because like that was my first time ever being on set with the speaking role. So I was pretty nervous. I thought I was gonna like mess up my lines and things like that because I had a full head-on script. And so, but Alan was so sweet. He talked to me before and he's like, "This is your moment. I am just carrying you." So he was like, "Just have fun and just feed off of my energy and I've got you." So that's always stayed with me. And then in 2016, I don't know if any of you have grew up with Bella and the Bulldogs on Nickelodeon. So I play Stacy in season 2. And I became the first actress in a wheelchair to be on the kids television network in 2016.
Awesome sauce.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So what because I know a lot of people with cerebral palsy can definitely be a confidence killer for a lot of people. What
Really?
advice would you have for somebody that deals with cerebral palsy that's trying to get into modeling and acting and kind of go that route with their life?
Especially fields dominated by able people.
Yes.
Um, my biggest advice is to just keep showing up. I mean, just push through it and just tell yourself, I have every right to be here. And, honestly, what gave me the confidence I have today, I cannot express this enough, is getting into performing arts. Like that, it really shaped me to be in front of people. It really shaped me to connect with an audience. Because, like I said, I did theater all my 4 years of high school, 4 years of middle school. It really, really gave me the foundation to really get out there. Because I'm going to be legit honest with you, in this industry, you cannot be shy. You can't be timid. You have to put yourself out there. So, what gave me the
Yeah.
confidence is the theatrical foundation that made me the performer that I am today. So, honestly, if you guys want to do this and build up confidence, find community theater. It is a must. It is like just, it's everything. It's
I
absolutely.
I I, I was Oberon, the fairy king in
Mhm.
Midsummer's Night Dream play.
Oh,
That
that's so
is
cool.
that's in my head for the rest of my life. All those
Mhm.
lines. My mom developed a rap so I could learn the
Oh,
lines in
yeah.
Oh
series.
no.
Um,
I love it.
the Last of Us actually videotaped in our town, right in our city. The plant zombie one,
Yeah.
and I before I realized they were there, they were gone. But I was gonna go down and apply as a zombie because
Oh,
man,
wow.
when I run, I don't have to act up being a zombie for that one.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh,
That's
what are
so
the
cool.
questions we have?
So
Uh,
what was your childhood like growing up with cerebral palsy? Like what was
Um,
that like for you?
my childhood grew up around a lot of surgeries, a lot of hospital visits, doctor appointments. As I mentioned before, Sharon, I grew up with the worst immune system ever, and so it just revolved around a lot of surgeries and you know constant doctor appointments and dealing with chronic pain. But um, I'm gonna be legit honest with you. Like the most thing that kept me going was repeating Bible verses of I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and just relying on the Lord and just being my strength and being my defender. That is where I found strength in those difficult moments.
I think
I
that's great. Like I, that's definitely something that a lot of people have a hard time with. And if you can find that strength, be it in like hobbies, be it in like your family support or in your faith, I think
Mhm.
that's amazing. And whatever you can hang on to have that support network, especially because this disorder can be very draining both emotionally and
Yeah,
physically.
yeah. But at the same time, I have to think like, okay, I can think, why me? Or why not me? That's,
Yeah.
you have to have the most upright mindset that you can possibly have, because if you constantly put yourself down, your body's physically gonna feel that. And so I'm like, you know what? This is just part of my story and it's gonna be okay. I am gonna be okay. I am gonna make it on the other side. No matter how many times I try to get knocked down, I am stronger than my struggles.
It's like I
I think
say,
that,
like, it's a Sisyphus task, as in we're always gonna push that boulder up that hill
Yeah.
forever, but it's
Mhm.
gonna make you stronger. And my philosophy for life is I'm going to struggle and keep alive, keep crawling that hill, and when death comes for me, I'm gonna spit in his eye, because nothing is gonna make put me down till then.
Nothing. Nothing.
I think that's a great mindset to have. And I love, on your portfolio website, um, I don't know if you want to call it like a tagline or a phrase. I guess it'd be more of a kind of a catchphrase, is like making cerebral palsy beautiful. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's such a varying disorder for so many people, and while more awareness is getting out there, there's still so much that's not known about it. So the more awareness that we can get out there to our community to help parents and caregivers and families and people that are dealing with it, the better.
And that's why I started using social media, because I noticed that, like, when I would look up cerebral palsy, you would often see the medical side of it. And I was like, what can I do to, like, really change the message of having cerebral palsy? So
Yes.
how I became a model and fashion content creator was, I accidentally went viral on Instagram. So, like, there was a audio that was trending. It's pretty girls walk like this. And, I was wearing a Guess sweatshirt one day, and I was in my walker, and I was like, "What if I use this audio and I use an outfit in my in my walker and just have that song in the background and just own that moment like nobody's boss." And so I posted that, and it got 10K, 30K, 20K, and it just went
Oh
up, and
my gosh.
I was like, "Okay, I think something happened here." So I started
Well,
collaborating with other photographers to get that message out. Actually, my first collaboration was with a photographer who has cerebral palsy, and her name's Maddie
oh my,
Ullman. And so we did a photo shoot at the Grove in out here in LA, and I called it Wheelchair Baddie. And then my second fashion content photo shoot was called Preemie Power, because it was for NICU Awareness Month, and I actually did it with Leah Hubner. And the the behind the scenes video of that photo shoot went viral as well. It hit 20 about 12K. And then I
oh
did
wow.
another fashion content photo shoot with Abigail Gordon, and we called it Making Cerebral Palsy Beautiful, the Fashionista Files. So, and then I have another photo shoot coming up, actually next weekend, actually. So I'm really excited about that. So that's how it all started. Like, I feel like this is my baby. And so I wanted to change the stigma and the message of having cerebral palsy, because you would often see like people struggling with it. And I was like, I want to give them hope. I want to give them optimism and really change the mindset and the message of a different perspective of having the disability.
Yeah, no, I think that is absolutely fantastic. And I kind of started like a similar journey. Um, what happened in my case is I worked, I've been in customer service for
Hmm.
13 years. I worked in finance and insurance and banking. 0 out of 10 don't recommend. It's very stressful. Um, but I got to the point where like, even working from home, even sitting for long periods of time,
Yeah.
um, I couldn't sit still. I would have to constantly readjust myself. And then I
Hmm.
realized like I would be so fatigued even after just sitting and working 8 hours that it just got to be like I would get off work and I'd go straight to bed, and it was very difficult for my body to keep up with. So I ended up going on long-term disability, and I had the worst struggle with that because I mean I've worked since I was 15.
Hmm.
I've never not worked. It was a huge uh kind of heartbreaker for me, having to kind of give that up and accept that.
Yeah.
Um, but during that time, like I'm glued to the couch and I'm sitting here reading through the cerebral palsy communities on Reddit, on Facebook, and I am seeing same question after same question after same question be asked over and over by different people. I'm seeing people
Like,
being down on themselves because
what
they
would
don't want
they?
to go to school with casts on and
Mm,
good.
Also our journey met up somewhat before that because we started a support page online.
yeah.
We became friends online and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And Sharon would talk to me about like issues and stuff like that when like like should I feel guilt about this? My body's doing this today. And
Yeah.
but my journey goes different before this. I was born with palsy, obviously. I worked really hard. I wasn't meaning beyond like barely making rent. And then I got hit by a car. So then I
Mhm.
got on my version disability, my province, because I'm Canadian, right? And
Mhm.
it's a decent amount, and I live with other people, but it's a regular income.
Right.
And my entire worldview changed where like I could put effort towards anywhere, and I started making changes in my community.
So
And
Sharon, like, what questions were they asking on that support group? Like you said,
oh
they were
yeah,
asking the same question over and over.
So a lot of questions that I saw were there were a lot of parents asking, my kid is acting like they're in pain, but they can't communicate it with me, and I had to explain like
Right.
cerebral palsy is painful, so it's they could very well be in pain, and I'm like giving them remedies to help like heating pad, hot blankets, hot
That's so
tubs,
embarrassing.
things like that, and then we'd get medical questions that were like. My kid is constantly dealing with constipation and I don't know why. And I'm like, yeah, that's normal too. Um, and, and then I would get stuff from like kids and middle school and high school. It's brutal. It is worse when you have a disability because you have a target painted on your back.
Right.
Um, and I would see posts from like girls commenting that they didn't want to go to school because of their casts and their braces and I remember having that issue because like I would when I was in school starting as early as like elementary school I would have people come up to me and be like what are those asking
Right.
about my AFOs
Right.
but it wasn't like what are those like the
What are
inquisitive question
those?
where they actually want an answer it
Yeah.
was yeah like it was one of those like you knew they were trying to be mean and rude about it
Yeah.
so I mean and I think all of us that have grown up with CP have dealt with that in some fashion
We tried.
um and but just realizing that like
Mhm.
I've lived with this I've lived through it and there are other people that are going through the phases that I already went through that are having such a difficult time. And when I was growing up, there was nobody else with cerebral palsy. There weren't all these communities
I'm the
online.
first person
There
she met.
weren't, yeah, Ty was the first person that I met with cerebral palsy.
Mhm.
Um, so my drive was just to want to be there. And at first I just kind of it started as like me giving advice. And a lot of people took that advice very well. And I would get like a lot of comments and likes on the advice and stuff. And then that
Right.
kind of snowballed into like, well, I don't like being unproductive, but I can't
Mhm.
do a whole lot. So what can I do to help kind of get more information out there and help people deal with this struggle? Um, and so that's kind of when I got the idea of a podcast, and which I find it hilarious now because when I want to say probably about 9 or 10, my dad had this is back when like internet was kind of like first a thing. My dad became friends with this guy that helped him host like an online radio show.
Hmm.
It was like an actual radio show where he'd hit buttons and play music and stuff like that. Like it was radio, but we did it online from home. And my dad would have me join him, and I'd do the radio show with him at like 10 years old. I guess people just thought I was adorable or something. I don't know.
And you
And
are.
and that ended up we ended up quitting that because the guy stopped paying for the server and I don't know how much it was to pay for it, but my dad didn't want to pay for it. So and then I kind of pivoted through a bunch of different careers and then I just kind of funny and I find it kind of funny that I'm like back to this now, like essentially doing the same thing, just
Mhm.
in a different way.
Yeah,
Me, I've
I
been on
I
it.
can
Sorry.
totally relate to the whole school situation. So, like, I grew up in special ed from kindergarten up until 7th grade. But I was also mainstreamed into regular ed when I was in 8th grade. And I graduated high school 4.0 GPA, regular ed classes, and I was at the top of my class. And so, if anyone who is listening to this podcast and is struggling with their child with their school education, my advice to you is give them a try. Like, if you want to try regular ed, go for it, because I have a teacher who is still a part of my life to this day who believed in me to go beyond special education. And her name's Chris Velasco, and she's still a part of my life to this day. And I can't thank my teachers enough for fighting for me to get into regular ed, because without them I would not be where I am today.
It's like, my coach, Mr. Lougheed, I joined the wrestling team. The teachers tried to make me join other things like floor hockey, which didn't make
Mhm,
sense to me. He
mhm.
took one look at me and said, "No, he's staying here." And then he changed the entire workout program just for me.
I
So
love
he made me run up and down the wheelchair ramp,
that.
and that actually improved my legs.
Aw,
So, and he was an ex-Olympian, so he changed the entire thing.
wow.
And that's why I keep doing like climbing up the hill analogy, because that was literally my
Love it.
defining moment.
That's
Yeah, and I
awesome.
think, yeah, and growing up for me, there was like a mix of special education classes and standardized mainstream classes. Um, and the looking back, the only thing that really bothered me is um, I ended up kind of bouncing in and out. There weren't a lot of tutoring programs when I was younger.
Okay.
Now we have, for those that don't know, there's a wonderful program called Khan Academy. It is a free tutoring resource. They go all the way from like pre-K, or maybe it's just kindergarten, all the way to 12th grade, I believe. And they even do like episodes on like how to apply for college and how that kind of works as well. Um, so that's a great tutoring resource, but I had a very hard time in classes because um a lot of teachers didn't want to take the time. The school district that I was in, majority of the teachers would put whatever the subject was on the board, and then it was like teach yourself kind of thing. And I'm like, I just need somebody to take 5 minutes, sit and explain it to me. I had a wonderful math teacher that I had in 5th grade that took the time. We'd sit after school almost every day with like snacks and just do math stuff all day. And I was to the point where I could go back into regular ed classes. But as soon as I tried that, um, nobody had bothered to sit with me and like do tutoring or anything. And again, we didn't have like tutoring resources like we have today.
Mhm.
Um, so I ended up going back into special ed classes. And the problem that I had with that was I didn't do the work in the special ed classes, not because I couldn't do it, but because there was no challenge. And
Mhm.
like it was, they very much presented it to parents like we would be learning the same grade level. When in reality, we were segregated and put into separate classes. And then we were taught stuff like I was learning 4th grade math in 10th grade. So that's been kind of a hurdle I've had to like overcome and teach myself.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that's also something that parents, the best thing you can do for your child is stay on top of what work they're actually doing and make sure that it's up to par with their cognitive abilities. And if they're having difficulty in an area, at least get them tutoring first
Yeah.
before saying, oh, they can't do this. Like,
I could not
Uh,
advocate tutoring enough. Like, I struggled with math. It's a miracle that I passed algebra 2 and geometry. But shout out to the tutors that helped me. And like, my parents, they're still advocating for me every day, honestly. Um, it's all about the support system and finding other people to advocate for you when you're also advocating for yourself.
yeah,
yes.
my mom was a nurse, so I read her nurse books, but she also knew how to do fight for me in that area. My
Yeah.
mom would tell me how like she would cry when she was first doing the stretching for me that she knew to do,
Oh,
because watching her baby cry, but to stretch him,
oh,
but because of that, I don't need a wheelchair 100% of the
right,
time.
right.
My dad was ex-military, so he had the conservative, just keep pushing yourself thing. and believing in me and letting so I went hiking with my dad and stuff. Talk about like education. Like I got stuck in special ed for at least 2 grades.
Yeah.
And like it's because there's this weird things like you're an actor and I'm gonna look at your stuff and you're probably an amazing actor.
Thank
But
you.
like the whole thing of education is that they assume we're the same level as other types of disabilities
Right.
and then stick us in that. And then it limits our learning because we're not learning the same as everyone else. And then a side effect is that the able kids aren't existing with disabled kids. And
Mhm.
then they treat us like we're other because we're
Right.
just not like everyone else.
Right. I
Um,
um I also did a promo commercial for Disney Plus's Out of My Mind on it's on a platform called Attention. And I actually said in one of the interviews of like how people particularly use this voice of like, "Oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry you're going through the disability. Let me pray for you."
Yes. Oh
Yeah,
my
and I'm just like,
gosh.
"Can you ask us about our day for crying out loud? Like, we're just normal people, but the circumstances are freaking different," you know?
can your vocal tones not change when you hear my voice in a regular
Exactly,
tone?
exactly, and, I said this quote on the promo, and for some reason, everybody's now using this quote, and so please make sure you guys, like, ask me for permission to use that quote because it's mine. But,
Okay.
Of course.
I said in the promo, "Cerebral palsy is a life condition, but it doesn't stop us from living our life."
That is very true. That's very true.
That's the
And I
core of
Mhm.
think,
everything.
yeah. And I mean, that's one of like the last episode that we just did. I also brought up the intelligence factor because that was one of my biggest pet peeves because people thought that I couldn't do it if I struggled in one area. It did more harm than good because they just kind of were like, "Oh, well, she can't do it. Why should we try?" And I'm like, "That's not how life works. Like you can't not try." And um especially like those of us that have cerebral palsy that have um like stronger speech impediments.
Yeah,
Um and I can't stand people treating people like they're mentally inept because
mhm,
they have a speech impediment because that's to do with
yeah,
their muscles and their voice and how
right,
they're able to move their jaw and their tongue and everything. Like it has nothing to do with them, not being intelligent. Like there's nothing, it's no correlation there.
yeah.
Um and I find it's very common for people to, I don't think it's intentional, but I do think they're in the back of their mind they have that automatic thought. And
Mhm.
that's something that I really want to break the stigma of.
Yeah, I think people act that way, Sharon, because I think people act that way because they're not aware, they're not educated enough. That's
Yes.
where it comes from. It comes from a lack of knowledge and lack of not understanding. That's where you have to have an open mind.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
we're putting out the information here so people are more aware. One of the main things I've encountered, just as again, my vocal cords are fine compared to the rest of myself, but the main
Mhm.
thing I get is people go, "Wow, you're so nice," like to people who are vocal cords, and it's like, why would I treat them any different? And I didn't get till later, like my life experience was so different. That's why
Here's
I don't treat anyone else like that different.
here's another pet peeve of mine. Instantly, when I do something, people automatically say, and I know that you guys can agree with this with me, is when they say, "You are such an inspiration."
Oh my God.
I just
Yes.
did something everyone else does. What are you talking about? It's like you're talking to me like I'm a freaking toddler. Like, no, thank you.
Right? Right?
Like, hey, all I did was throw this food in the microwave. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's not, oh, I made dinner. Woo. Like, it's, so it's not, just so people understand, it's not the you're an inspiration when you're doing something awesome or something out of the ordinary. We'll get that when we're doing like day to day activities. And
Right.
that's the part that's like kind of, it's gross. Like, it's kind
Yeah.
of icky because like it's,
There's
like, how do you
there's a,
expect me to live? Like,
there's a time and a place to say that.
yeah.
Not every little thing, because
Not every little thing, but I do find I have become slightly tougher than able people. Just the fact that like I'm always in pain, I'm always pushing through, I'm always finding workarounds for things. Like I
yeah.
drag a cart to go shopping. I don't drive, and able people who've got weirdly enough, they get like they can drive, they get all these little things that make their
Yeah.
lives easier,
Mhm.
and doing so, they can't really handle adversity
Mhm.
because their lives have been easier. Whereas we know the struggle. It, all three of us, I assume, we're really nice people because we know how it is to struggle. We push hard because we know how it is to
We
struggle.
push hard because we don't have a choice.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
only up the hill.
That's if you think about it.
And I
If you
think
think about it, that's with everybody. Everybody. Not just us. It's with everyone.
Oh yeah. Eventually, I just took as I stopped taking offense to the "you're doing so
Mhm.
well" or "you're so amazing," and it became like it makes them feel good to see that even if life gets hard, you can
Mhm.
still keep pushing.
yes.
Yeah.
I've had parents come up be like, 'cause I use electric scooter, right? That's how I can
Mhm.
get around.
Mhm.
They go, "You can use that?" And I've had hour-long conversations with parents who are like, "Can my kid use this? Is it easy for them?" And I go, "No, no, no, yeah." And I just realized that as an older disabled person, it's my job now to prove to parents that, no, you do not have to fear for your child. You just have to push them in the direction
You
they need
have
to
to,
go.
right, it's all about the push, right? Because, if you give into I can't do this, I don't think I can, but change it. Do it anyway. Try because you might just surprise yourself and think, "Oh, I can," you know?
I
There
mean, like,
was on one of the cerebral palsy groups that I read, this is probably the greatest advice I've come across in a while for new parents. Um, Somebody said that what they do with their kid is they have their kid try something 3 times, and then if they can't get it the third time, then they have to ask for help. And I think that's brilliant because that
Yeah.
teaches them to keep trying, and then it also teaches them how to ask for help and not get frustrated with the situation.
Yeah, exactly.
uh, let's see. Okay. How do you handle rejection in your field of work?
How do I Oh, that's a really good question. I think it's all like I said, it's all about the mindset, and I think because what I do is I'm like, "Okay, hearing the word no pushes me harder to get a yes." Like, that's why I'm constantly in acting classes every single weekend, like, every single Sunday for 2 hours with my acting coach, Danielle Vermengo, and I'm like, Okay, if I don't get the part, it's not the end of the world. I just have to keep pushing and keep showing up until the hard work pays off." It's not about, like, "Oh, I'm not good enough." It's not about, "Oh, I'm not pretty enough." I just did not fit the description of the role for this one. And, yes, it's a lot of rejection. Yes, it's a lot of waiting, but, you know, I have to tell myself, like, look, it's not about why you're doing it. It's about who you're doing it for. And that pushes me to keep pushing on and to keep going. And that's what gets me through the rejection.
Did you notice in your field how just like it all happens with dwarfism too?
Hmm.
When we get replaced by people who aren't disabled. My
And
biggest example is Glee. The
yeah.
disabled guy in Witcher in Glee. He's from a singer group, but he can walk fine. I took that as the biggest insult.
Oh
How do
my
you feel
gosh,
about it?
me too, me too. Like, whenever I see somebody playing a disabled character who's able-bodied, I'm like, "Why didn't they use authentic disabled casting?" Like, this is what I'm fighting for every single day, and I've always said, "Write disabled characters for disabled actors," you know? And again, I think people still do this because they're not aware. This is why people in my field need to keep showing up, need to keep auditioning, need to keep taking acting classes, need to keep networking to show people, all of the industry professionals, that we are here.
I actually have like 2 examples. Because like we can tell, right? Like we
Mhm.
can tell when someone isn't, but I
Right?
found able people can't really tell because
Right?
again, they have no experience with it.
Yeah.
There is Mac and Me. It's a ET knockoff. The kid
Mhm.
in there. clearly, and I looked it up, he has a spine deformity.
Mhm.
He moves his legs with his hands as
Uh-huh.
if the muscles are tight because they are. And
Mhm.
I noticed that as a small child. That amazed me because all other people in wheelchairs in the mooch before that, I could tell they could move their legs. And
Yeah.
then you have the son in Breaking Bad. That
Yeah. Um,
amazed me.
yeah, what's his name?
I was
RJ something. RJ I
Something.
can't
I
remember. Yeah.
When his dad goes around when the bullies are bullying
Yeah.
him, like what I've always seen bullies do. So I got really mad, and this dad goes around, walks up behind, and just kicks one of the bullies in the back of the leg and like beats him.
Mhm.
And I was like, yeah. And I was like, wait, I'm way too excited for this. This might be a big revenge story in my brain, but I'm glad for that scene, that representation, even in a
That's
show.
why that's why I love auditioning because, when I get an audition, I'm like, "Okay, you know what? This is my time to show casting directors what I can do as an authentic actor with a disability and a working actor." You know, that's why I love getting auditions from my team. Because I have agents and I have managers, and so they are constantly sending me out on audition tapes and things like that. So, like when I get an audition and I'm in front of the casting direct well, not in front of the casting director because it's a tape, but, like, when they want to see me, I'm like, "You know what? Okay." Again, I ask myself, "Who are you doing this for?" It's so that other people can know to do it too. This is your time to show casting directors what real disabled talent looks like. This is your time. It's not about Miracle the actor. It's about showing up and being consistent because your job is to audition, and that's what one of my former acting coaches told me. He was like, your job is to audition. So, like, when I get an audition tape, I'm like, okay, this is your time to show up and show what a disabled actor really, really looks like. All of it.
Yeah, that performing to give other people with disabilities confidence seems to be like a real thing.
I'm sorry, what was that? You were kind of fading in and out.
So performing to give other to show that other people disabled people with performing to give other people with disabilities confidence seems
Yes.
to be a part that really gets
Yes.
us over the hump some days.
Right. That's why I said that getting into theater classes are so crucial because it builds your confidence. It helps you be a better listener. It helps you interact with people more. And it also helps with your eye coordination, your speaking, your interaction. Because I know like a lot of people, whether you have autism or cerebral palsy, they have like, social cues that where they're really, really shy, or they don't really like to be around people. They like to be by themselves. And so, just showing up and performing, if that's what you want to do, it's so important.
Yeah, like
yeah, no,
the way I talk, as I took speech therapy, and I was taught to broadcast my voice
Mm-hmm.
and other things like that, and that able to interact with people better.
Yeah.
Um,
I did a few I did, and I think this is kind of what like drew me to like your post and your story, Miracle, is like I I was in a local art group. I won't give the name because I don't that'll kind of give away like where I'm at, and I don't want to. It's the internet, and I don't want to like dox myself. But I was in a local youth group that did summer camps with acting and plays and stuff like that. Um, and it was something that I had gotten really into. I once did a play where I forget what it was, but it's something about like you're robbing a bank, but it's a bank with chocolate. This was for kids, so it's like, and so they had me practice the role, and then when I was on stage, they I don't know who decided to do this, but this I don't know who they talked to, but this had to be a prank. So when I'm on stage and we're doing the actual play, the prop bag that I was supposed to be carrying for stealing the chocolate or whatever, somebody decided to fill that with like 15 cartons of eggs. Like, yeah, it was like 15 to 20 cartons of eggs. And I'm like, I can barely drag this, but okay.
Oh my gosh.
what improv? Because I tried out for improv several times in drama
Yes.
school. Okay, so the prompt was make me believe it. Okay. So
Yeah.
me and my partner, we did like a shooting or like a robbery. I got shot. I know how to fall. So I just threw myself backwards and landed. It boomed in the entire auditorium
Oh
and
my god.
everyone
Yeah.
stopped. I was fine. I know how to fall, right? I can
Yeah.
pratfall. Everyone was like, stopped. Everyone, are you okay? The teacher came up, are you okay? It's like, no, you told me to to do it. We were cheating. She's like, oh my God, you won because everyone thought you got hurt.
No, like, I remember this one time I was doing a theater play in my high school, and I actually this was not a part of the show. I just wanna put that out there. I fell backstage. Like, I fell over the ramp, and I was in my wheelchair, so my wheelchair fell with me. And the drama teacher came backstage and she's like, "Do you wanna stay or do you wanna go home because you're done with your scenes?" And I was like, "I wanna stay, I wanna keep going." She's like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "The show must go on." I was so sore and, like, I could feel my arm getting swollen, but I was like, "You know what? This is your time. Like, just push through it. Just push through it. You can take an Advil later when you get home. Just push through it." So, yeah.
I
That's
mean,
perseverance
that
for sure.
dedication is actually that dedication's awesome. I feel like I feel like even in the acting industry, like that's probably kind of hard to find is like people that are dedicated to kind of push through stuff like that. Not that they should have to, but I feel like that's a bit more rare in general.
Yeah.
Instead of break a leg, it's break a wheel.
Right? Right.
So
Uh,
you've been in a lot of different stuff. Do you kind of want to give our viewers like your resume just so they kind of get because I know you
Um,
talked about Bella and the Bulldogs, but that'll kind
yeah.
of give them a
So
bit more background.
I've also been in Tommy Hilfiger adaptive clothing line commercials. I've done, commercials for Yamaha, which was a wheelchair company. I've done, like I said, the promo for Out of My Mind on Attention, which is partnership with Disney Plus, and I'm also the voice of the first American Girl doll with cerebral palsy in the YouTube series American Girl Doll: The Troubled Twins on YouTube Kids, and her name's Lily, and that was actually my first voiceover job. So
Oh, that's
that
awesome.
those are some of my credits, and also too, I can't say what this is for just yet because because of personal reasons,
copyright.
but I just recently booked my next co-star role on a very well-known, um, platform, so I will share when I can, and I just can't right now because of copyright reasons, so
Yeah. If you could, we'd be like, watch this next week on.
yeah, yeah. I wish I can, but
Well, that's very exciting.
right now at this point, you guys are just gonna have to keep waiting. It's killing me, but it'll be worth the wait, I promise.
Like
We'll
Sharon's
definitely
throwing
have
me
to.
into the ring with all these famous people, and I'm getting like, I'm getting the withers here.
Thank you.
Well, I've tried to kind of branch out as much as we can to kind. I feel like the more voices that we get in the community, the better,
Mhm.
and the more people to share their stories, the better. Um, No, a lot of people have this idea that when you start a podcast or when you're doing a podcast, no matter what you're doing it on, like the focus is supposed to be you. And like, yeah, I talk a lot on the podcast because I'm the host, but like, it's not
We'll
meant
keep
for
it
me.
real.
It's meant for other people to share their stories. It's so we can help people have a better understanding of what cerebral palsy is. Um,
I
and
always say
going back to that,
I
oh,
always
good.
say that cerebral palsy is not only my disability, but it's my superpower. It's my
Oh, that's
superpower.
awesome. I love that mindset. I love that. Um, And I find mindsets like that great, because unfortunately they are rare among our community because it is kind of a more difficult disability to live with and how it affects everybody so widely. Um,
I think what makes it difficult at times is, yes, there's chronic pain, but, we talk
Mm,
about the mind, right? If if you don't feel well, your body can, of course, feel that, but if you go deeper within the pain, your mind is gonna be clouded with those negative thoughts, and it can actually make the chronic
yes.
pain worse. So, like, when I get sick, I'm like, "Okay, this sucks," and, like, I get really frustrated, but taking a deep breath and saying, like, "Okay, this is part of my story. It's not the end of me. It's a part of the journey. And you just have to keep telling yourself, just like the little engine that could, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. Tell yourself, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna get better. I'm going to take care of myself, you know, more frequently. It's all about the mindset.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, and
I work out constantly.
Mhm.
I do different things. I'm trying to join a weapons martial arts, like sword fighting with armor
Mm.
and stuff like that. When I can, if I do, I'm putting a video up on this just so like I could watch people get myself beaten with a mace.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
but working out constantly, like I said, I would hiking. I am the president of a local community league. I made a glow in the dark arcade. I made a glow in the dark haunted house. I made carnival games out of cardboard.
Oh my gosh, look
Uh,
at you go.
I do food outreach programs and stuff like that. And
Awesome.
like I said, it's just keep pushing. You just keep pushing no matter what
Yeah.
because you will get there. One
Mhm.
things people ask me is like, why can you stay still for so long or why can you pay attention for so long? And I tell them it's because my when I walk, an hour journey is 3 hours for me. So
Mhm.
I gotta stay focused or think of something to keep entertained on the way there, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
one step in front of the other. And if you get
I
tired, just
mhm.
keep keeping those steps.
Right. Like my physical therapist, his name's Justin. And like whenever we do like a walking session in my walker, so like I have a K reverse walker. And he goes, okay, let's walk that red carpet. Let's walk that photo shoot. Walk, walk, walk.
oh my god.
He
Work it,
really,
work it.
yeah, he's like, come on, let's walk to set. Let's walk to set. Camera rolling and action. It's all about motivation, right?
Give him the Cole Steele look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
What
awesome.
you mentioned that you know your sister's children, right? You live with your sister. I live with my
Right,
brother.
right.
What are some of the biggest supports you've had to achieve where you are right now,
Um,
family and otherwise?
well, definitely my parents. I'm the middle child of my family, so I have two older brothers and one younger sister, and I'm an auntie of five. And I'm also a godmother to my best friend's daughter, and I'm an adopted auntie to her twin boys. And I have family friends that I've known me since I was really really small. I just it's all about the people that you're around. So I have a really, really good support system. Actually, my best friend, Kelly Heyer, is an actress as well, and she's been on Raising Hope, Drake and Josh, The Middle, Zeke and Luther, SWAT, Criminal Minds, and this girl is my ride or die. Um, I I would not just we're like uh we're like, Rachel and Monica from Friends, let's put it that way. Um, I think having the most incredible support system makes me who I am today.
Oh, definitely. Like I've said, I mentioned my parents. I mentioned my sports I've had. My little brother, he's bigger than me physically. We joke that we can make one person because he'll throw me on his back and we'll run off to battle. Ever since we're little kids,
Um,
when we had to go somewhere, he'd be tie quickly, assemble, and then I'd jump on his back and we'd run off somewhere.
I also have an incredible mentor who's been with me since I was 15, and her name's Bethany,
Mm,
and we actually met at a commercial audition for Disney XD when I was 15, so she's just really helping me learn about life and really paving the way for me and guiding me in the most loving of way. So I'm beyond thankful for her.
awesome.
It's awesome. I think people can vastly underestimate their support system.
Mhm.
And I feel like that support system can make or break like your mentality and what you're up for doing, and like having that support system, especially with having the difficulties that we do, it it really matters. Like it matters a lot.
Mhm.
Growing up, and one thing that I do push for when talking to parents is like I do tell them to, you know what, try to have your kid go to mainstream school first. If they
Yeah.
can't do it, that's okay. Um, but my biggest network growing up and dealing with the cerebral palsy was like fit in with the alt kids, I fit in with the goth kids, and I just kind of like made my own little group. And
Right.
um, I like having that set of able-bodied friends that just they don't see you
Yeah.
as different. They just see
Yeah.
you as who you are, as a person.
Hmm.
Made a world of difference growing up.
Yeah. I mean, actually, my best friend Kelly, um, like I mentioned before, she is so in my corner. And I was actually a bridesmaid in her wedding, and she made sure that the venue was wheelchair accessible. Everything was wheelchair accessible for me. And I got to roll down the aisle. We be right by her side when she was saying her vows to her husband. And I actually made a POV reel of like says a girl with cerebral palsy becomes a bridesmaid in her best friend's wedding. And that actually hit 5,000 views as well. So, I've gotten messages about mine and Kelly's relationship, and people have said to me, "You're giving my daughter hope of having a real genuine friendship one day because of you and Kelly." Like it can bring me to tears because I'm so thankful for her.
Yes.
We've gone through so much, and she's just this like a lot of what I want people to understand that real genuine friendship is out there. You just have to look. And I know like there's a lot of anxiety for parents about who's going to be friends with my daughter, who's going to be friends with my son. You just have to look deeper. And I think there's also a quote that I absolutely love. It's by Mia Carella Ryder, and it says inclusion is not just about who you invite at the table. It matters who belongs there. And so you just have to find the right people that make you feel like you belong.
Yeah, my friend group, I they accepted me and supported me, and I helped support them. We have there's another I have another friend who is vocal cord tightness, same
Mm-hmm.
palsy and stuff like that. But he
Right.
there's a program in my province where like a college student will help him, get around the house and live and stuff like that, and they get cheaper rent. They visited one day, and they were amazed that we treated him like anyone else. But it was because my friend support group was already prepared and prepped to
Yeah.
treat him like they treat me.
Right.
My and then we're talking about like friends and then get partners, right?
Mm-hmm.
My current partner liked me because I was showing her daughter what ladybugs, explaining ladybugs to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like she doesn't see me as that, and I keep apologizing for certain things. I have body dysmorphia,
Right.
right? But she keeps like telling me that I'm like a big strong man and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
because she
Yeah.
does not see me in that way, and it rips me out of that body dysmorphia
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
into confidence by having that proper
I think
support network.
I think having the right friends is what also builds up your confidence as well. You know, and also like I think once you find that genuine person who's going to see you past your disability, that is what makes all the difference.
we we should bring we should bring yours on sometime, Sharon, so he can talk about his side.
No. He has too much anxiety for that. He's good on that.
Mhm.
Just as her friend from
Um,
this side, he supported her very much through most troubles. Like,
We all need that person.
yeah. Yeah, no, my partner has like a bunch of he has a plethora of like his own issues,
Right.
that he deals with like really bad social anxiety and stuff like that. And we kind of balance each other out. We met back in high school and we just been like attached at the hip since. So,
Can I ask, are you guys dating or no?
uh, we're we're not married, but essentially we are like we've been together for like 17 years, so
your
we've
common law at this
survived
point.
longer than most marriage. Well, we don't have common law where I'm at, so
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah,
okay.
common law doesn't exist where I'm at. Some states still have common law, mine does not.
Okay.
But essentially it would be the same thing if it was still a thing here. So
That's awesome.
I would have married
yeah, no, he's
mine,
been a
but
great support for
like
me.
my province has a if you get married, you get less income type of thing. So I got to ride that edge
Mhm.
for a while. But uh, I've thought of like things like Oh, okay. If I got married, I would go to the place I hike with my dad, because that's where my mom and dad went on their honeymoon, and
Uh,
there's a natural water a spring pool that fills up, and my dad didn't tell me until I took water from it, purified, that that's where him and my mom spent their honeymoon. I was like, "Oh god, dad, why?"
my parents have been married for 40, I think it's 44 years now.
Ooh,
Oh
Um,
my god, that's awesome.
yeah,
That's
they've been
awesome.
together all of their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and now 60s.
nice.
So,
That's very
Ooh,
awesome. It's beginning to be a rarity these days. So, um, that's why I said like I have friends that are already on their second marriage. So I'm like, I don't feel the whole marriage thing, but that's
mm.
just me. But
My best
um,
friend and her husband just celebrated their second anniversary, and my best friend Kelly, her firstborn is my goddaughter. That's how close we are. So, I'm like, "Oh my god, I have a baby with my bestie." So I just I love them so much.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad that you have them for that support, and having those close relationships makes the world a difference. And that's something that I hope people kind of come to understand more so that they can know to provide that support and know that it's okay to provide that support.
Yeah.
Um, um, but yeah, well, we are coming close to our time here, but before we go, what advice do you want to give to other people with cerebral palsy, and what advice do you want to give to parents who are caring for children that have cerebral palsy?
Well, the first thing I would give advice for the cerebral palsy warrior, as I would say, is this is your journey. This is your time to shine. And yes, cerebral palsy is a part of you, but remember, it's not all of you. You have the gift within you to just be yourself, and you're going to find the spark within you to share that with others. And also, too, like for the parents, yes, this journey is going to be hard, but remember that you were chosen to be the parents. This is going to make you stronger. This is going to make you wiser. This is going to make you um, it's gonna give you strength that you need and beyond what you can ever compare, and this is just going to make you a even better person. It may not feel like it on the tough days, but you're gonna make it through. You're gonna make it through. You're gonna push through, and you're gonna be better than you could ever possibly imagine.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I
Yeah,
I like to
I
say my D&D character started out with -2 dexterity and -2 endurance, but we get
Mhm.
up to the levels.
Yeah.
well, it was such a pleasure having you on, Miracle. I really do appreciate it. It's been a pleasure talking with you in between, getting this set up, I thank you so much. It's been an honor to have you on with us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank
Yeah,
you.
of
I'm
course.
amazed, and I'm rethinking what I did with my life. Jeez.
Well, I'm thankful that I can be that the inspiration for you.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's something a lot of our viewers will love, especially if they're wanting to get into that type of thing career-wise, because I can definitely understand how they
Mm,
might avoid that because of their cerebral palsy, and I can definitely understand, having somebody to look up to that is in that field of work that has cerebral palsy, and I'm sure they'll find that very relatable and inspirational, and it was such a pleasure to have you here.
thank you. And also too, like I just want to give some advice on anybody who wants to do this for a living. Uh you have to be strong, not just emotionally but mentally. It's again, it's all about the mind. So you have to make yourself strong mentally and emotionally and physically to take on the business. And you know again, like when I'm on set, my whole family goes with me. So like my sisters, my mom, my dad, it's all about the support system. So one my three-part advice to you is like if there's anybody who wants to do this, get into community theater. Have the right support system, and make sure that your schedule is always open because auditions are not scheduled. They are out of the blue. You have to really, really make the sacrifices to make this an ongoing career.
Good advice.
I think that's wonderful advice. And then, before we go, I wanted to touch on your agency. I did go through their page a bit. If I'm understanding this incorrectly, let me know. That's okay. But it seems like they specialize in helping people with disabilities get into the acting field. Am I understanding that correctly?
I auditioned for them. I've been with them for over a year, and I love my agents at DDO Artist. Shout out to Alicia, Laura McKenna, um, casting Julie, and my manager Al Petrush, and also Jocelyn. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being on Team Miracle.
Cool.
And we'll add the link to their website down in the description. So if anybody wants to kind of get into acting at all, if you're in the area, I'll add that website information linked in the description so that you guys have that.
Mhm.